welcome to episode 23 of On the Bench. On the Bench is the world's only podcast for scale modelers by scale modelers. So if you build aircraft, ships, armour, cars, science fiction subjects, figures, this is the podcast for you. On the Bench is a fortnightly podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, and all good podcast apps. Don't forget to mark us as your favourite so you never miss a show. And while you're there, leave a rating. That just helps other people find the show as well. If you want to get in contact with us, we'd love to hear from you. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. Firstly, you can send us an email at onthebench64@gmail.com. Alternatively, just pop in the words On the Bench into Facebook and that'll take you directly to our page. And let's get on with the show. Hello and welcome everybody. G'day Ian.
G'day Dave.
G'day Julian.
Hello.
How are you guys?
Yeah, good.
Excellent, mate.
So here we are in our new studio.
Yes.
Nice and comfy.
Nice and flashy too. Very flashy, Dave. Done well, mate.
Yeah, I have done well. And if you want to have a look, just go to our Facebook page. I've got a little video up there and some pictures.
Yep, that's right.
And took me a while to get it together.
Yep.
But it's come up really, really nice.
Come up a treat.
Yeah. So, what have you guys been doing since the last episode?
Well, I've been working on a whole bunch of armour things. They're coming along slowly. I was sick all last week, so you still might hear a bit of the tickle in my throat.
What sort of armour you been doing?
Lots of German 8-wheel things, some Israeli things, and I started on because Expo is very, very close. So
3 weeks, mate.
That's the deadline we're working towards, and I do a lot of building at the club. So what I've started working on is a car for the Interclub that's coming up.
The Waverley Interclub's a long way off.
Yeah, the Waverley. It's a long way off, but you leave it too late and you run out of time like I did last year.
Yes. Yes.
What are you, Ian? What have you been up to?
Oh, well, I finished painting all my figures for my light car patrol diorama.
Yeah.
Painted the goat.
Yep.
Goat. Yeah, my little goat.
Goat.
Painted and put in all my baggage and so forth for the back of the Model T.
Yeah.
It took over a day, just to paint all these little bits and pieces, just to stick like storage and stuff to stick in there. Painted the Roman column, the ruined Roman column that's going in the corner of the base, and started the groundwork.
Wow.
So yeah, it should be finished in the next week or two.
You can give you some pictures so I can post it on the Facebook page?
Sure can.
Excellent.
Yep.
Hanging out to see the finished product. I've seen the Model T done, but I'm hanging out to see the whole thing all tied together in a diorama.
Yeah. I'm really happy with the way the figures turned out too. I think I'm starting to get the figure painting down pat now.
Yeah. Figure painting, I should say. Figure painting to me is like doing wiring on World War I aircraft. No.
Nah, I reckon wiring on World War I aircraft is easier.
Do you really think so?
Yeah. Because with figures, they're humans. People relate to humans, so they got to look like humans.
Well, what have I been doing? Moving into the new place.
Yep.
All settled in now.
Yep.
Built my man cave on my bookshelf, so all the books are up now, and half of my models are on display.
Yes.
And the only thing I haven't built yet or got around to doing is the build room. So that's my next project, and I'm thinking about taking a week off from work to get that done because I got a desk from you, Ian, from your work.
Yes.
This great big old wooden desk, which is going to be perfect.
Absolutely perfect. When I finally move at the end of the year, I'm grabbing one of them desks myself too.
Oh, smart move.
Yep.
Smart move.
I'm sick of working on my little tiny desk.
Yeah, so I've got in my build room a whole must be 20 boxes full of different stuff.
Yep.
I've got all the kits all sort of stashed away in various locations of the new house. So, yeah, I've got to get the build room together so I can start building
And then you've
again.
got to set up your desk.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You think about getting those little modular units you can buy online?
What, for the paints and stuff?
Yeah, all your paints and your brushes and so forth.
I don't know.
I've seen a few people use them and they look... I'm planning on doing that myself. And that way you can just setting up around the edges of your bench.
Well, all my bookcases I've got are from IKEA, the Billy bookcases, they're called.
Yes, I know the ones, yep.
And I was very ruthless as to what I put in. So it's just purely books now and just models. I used to have a whole heap of knickknacks and stuff on display. So I've gotten rid of that. So as a result, I've got 1.5 bookcases left over, which I'm planning to put in the build room, and that'll be the storage for all the extra stuff and everything that I use.
Yep.
So
good idea.
And also the overlay of other models that I can't fit in this one, I'll put in that one. So
I'll start hooking into some big projects, mate.
Yeah.
Finish painting your tank.
Oh yes, the mouse. Yes, I got to finish painting the mouse.
Yeah, paint the mouse.
Yeah, I'll get to that. I'll decide what scheme I'm going to do.
Yeah,
I'm just wrapped. I've built a tank.
Oh, that's it, mate. Onwards and upwards, mate.
What other news? Oh, we hit over 10,000 downloads.
Whoa!
So that is absolutely awesome. Got lots of people out there who are still sending us messages, and we'd love hearing from you. So drop us a line on Facebook, our Facebook page, or if you prefer to use email, you can send us an email at onthebench64@gmail.com. So yeah, 10,000. That's awesome. And we're only now 20. This is episode 23, so doing really well. So lots of feedback, and it's interesting. The host site I've got where I store this podcast, and people sort of download it from there, various places. It's actually got a map of the world, so it shows where a lot of people are. And I think there's one person in Sweden and about 2 people in Japan who sort of regularly download. So g'day to Sweden and hello to those people in Japan.
Yes, g'day you guys.
And one person in Chile as well.
We've got to look after our Latin American friends.
We certainly do. So, yeah, no, it's going really good. And so wrapped to the back teeth. And as I said, got the new studio up and done. So it's looking good now.
Onwards, upwards, mate.
Just need some pictures in here now.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about in the future maybe doing a live sort of Facebook sort of cast when we do one of our shows, so people can sort of see what the setup looks like.
Oh, yeah.
So that
Sounds good.
Set up a little camera.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, well, I think we'll take a quick break there and we'll sort of launch into what's new in the modelling world. We've got a lot to get through. And later on, I'm going to be having a chat about chipping.
Paint chipping.
Paint chipping, yeah.
Many techniques in that.
Absolutely.
There is.
All right, back shortly. And we're back and having a look at what's new in the modelling world. So first, let's kick off. And from Italeri, they are releasing... Oh, there's that music coming up. I don't want that coming up just yet, so...
We'll start again.
Cue that down. No, we'll keep going. From Italeri, we've got their newest edition of the F-104 Starfighter. Now, it's actually, I think, an upgraded edition of one they've done in the past. As I said, it's in 1/32 scale. Interesting aircraft, the F-104. Gee, it cost a lot of lives flying this thing. It wasn't exactly the most safest aircraft to use. And I know...
especially with such a tiny wingspan.
Yeah, I think... Now, I stand corrected on this, but the Canadian Air Force, because they used this for quite some time, and they lost something like... they had about 20% casualty rate or something.
Same with the Germans.
Yeah.
The Germans had an astronomical amount of losses using starfighters.
But, it looks really hot and fast, doesn't it?
Yep.
So this one is a, as I said, upgraded edition. It's priced at about €98. That's from Italeri directly. The kit dimensions are about, the box dimensions, I should say, are about 560 millimeters by 280 by 115. So it's a fairly decent sized box. This is actually the Photo Recon version used by the Italian Air Force.
And Dutch.
And Dutch, yes. Can't forget the Dutch, can we?
No, of course not.
Comes with a huge photo etch fret, which will appeal to all those of you out there who enjoy using brass.
Oh, and looking at the photo etch, it looks like it's got some stoppers for the fuselage halves.
Yes, so you can sort of display it.
Display the engine.
The decal sheet is 2 huge sheets.
Oh, geez, what do you got there? You got Italian, Dutch, German, Greek, Canadian,
And Italian.
Yep.
So you've got a huge choice in which country you sort of want to model it in.
Not Spanish as well.
Oh, the Spanish as well. Oh. And, geez, it looks such an awesome looking fighter, isn't it?
Yep.
It's just pity it was no good at, I say no good. It sort of didn't achieve what it wanted to achieve. Anywho, moving on from that. Now, there's a new one, well, not new, they've been around for a while, but Horizon Models are an Australian company, and they do spacecraft in 1/72nd scale. And they do the Mercury Redstone, as well as now, wasn't the Atlas, was it? I'm just trying to think now. But a great little kit anyway. So they did the Mercury Redstone series of the rockets that NASA were using, which came in, of course, before the Apollo series.
What scale are they, Dave?
1/72nd scale.
That'd be
So
a big kit.
Oh, a huge kit in 1/72nd scale, but it builds a beautiful model. And the detail, especially up around the top part where you've got the module and even the little rocket that goes on top of the module, which was the emergency sort of breakaway thing in case something went wrong. And it comes with a whole heap of decal sheets, so you can build it in a range of sort of different styles. Now, I know that they also, besides the Mercury one, I'm pretty sure they do the Atlas version as well. And I think that can be done in a bare metal finish from memory, the Atlas, because the Atlas went on to be the ICBM version. And they just whacked the
warhead in place of the...
in place of the capsule, yeah. Yeah, so there we go. As I said, you can do it in the bare metal finish, which would be interesting effect because they were actually sort of welded parts, so it'll look really good once it's sort of done well.
Definitely.
So that is that one. Also, what have we got on? From Mini Art. Now, Mini Art's a really interesting company. They're producing some really interesting stuff. And they're continuing to do that. They've got their announcement of the new German rocket launcher, which was the 28 centimetre and 32 centimetre rocket launcher. They're doing some really sort of out there sort of kits at the moment. And this comes in 1/35th scale. And I believe it has 2 rocket launches. These are the same sort of rockets that were used on the Nebelwerfer.
On the SDKF.
Sorry, that's right, yeah.
251.
Yep.
Stuka Fush, whatever it was called.
Yes, that's right. And it should appeal to those people who sort of like artillery or sort of building those types of things.
Pretty cool looking little thing, isn't it?
It's a very cool looking little thing. So
I had no idea they existed. I do now.
But you knew they went there on the side of the SK.
Yeah,
so it's the same
but not on like a gun carriage.
Yeah. So that'll be really cool to build. Again from Mini Art. Now this really impresses me. They're doing a what if. In 1/35th scale, they're doing the Soviet ball tank.
The Sharo tank.
It's going to be 1/35th scale. Release date is slated for August 2018.
It looks like something a manga painter done.
Well, it does, doesn't it? Now, this was something that appeared only in drawings, so obviously the reason why it's a what if. But the appeal of it is you can use it not only in sort of a what if, but you could really apply it and use it in sci-fi type stuff as well. Just look,
I can easily see someone like taking that kit and modifying it even more.
Yeah. Interestingly, from the shots,
it's got kiddie trainer wheels.
From the photos we're having a look at from the front section, there goes, shows it from the side section. So there's a lot of detail that's going to be inside the kit. So if you can imagine a ball with a wheel just around it, and it used to be a cartoon about something like that.
It looks a lot like a cricket ball.
Yeah. And it's going to have detail inside, so you can actually have the side door open and have a look inside and view what's inside as well. So
very cool.
That looks super cool. Your paint schemes, you could have an absolute blast.
Well, I know it's Russian, mate. It'll be green.
Yeah, but you can do green with the the winter sort of covering on it and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Whitewash.
Yeah, whitewash. It look awesome. Next one up, we got from Panda Hobbies, and they've announced a 1/350 scale kit of their SA-11 Gadfly, which was the Soviet anti-aircraft. And it's a really mean-looking beast.
Is this the same subject that I believe Meng, was it, also going to be potentially releasing?
Well, they still always do the same?
No, they don't. It's actually normally, usually Kitty Hawk will often release something in conjunction, like sort of in competing with Trumpeter sometimes, and then sometimes with, I think it's avant-garde models. In any case,
it looks like something out of the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, it does. So what you've got the lower half is a tracked vehicle. Then you've got a turret on top that has got the fire dome for the X-band radar.
Wait, is this Allied or this is...
No, German, Soviet.
Oh,
yep.
Soviet.
Yep, the SA-11 Gadfly. And then on top of that, you've got 4 of the SA-11 missiles mounted on top. So they should build a nice, cool little kit, actually. It'll look quite nice once it's all done. And they generally also, you could have them not just set up as one, but it'd look really cool in a diorama with about 2 or 3 of them sitting there. Although 1/35 scale might be a bit of a large diorama. Alrighty, moving along, let's have a look at some news about a figure. And from Life Miniatures, they're doing a 1/16 scale of Max Wunsch.
14 Kharkov.
Kharkov 1943 figure. So this is based on the somewhat well-known figure of a SS officer in World War II. Now, it's really cool because he's standing there with his, what do you call those hats?
The bearskin hats.
The bearskin hat, yeah, with the death's head and the German eagle in it.
It's a beautifully sculptured figure.
Yeah, sculpted by Sung Eon Lee, who's the actual sculptor who's got the credit for that. But and he also, from the picture we're looking at, he did the painting of it as well. So that's 1/16 scale. It's going to be
decent sized figure.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can really get some detail into that, which would be really cool. All right, moving on to some more news from Hong Kong models. And, of course, the internet is abuzz about the Lancaster in 1/32 scale. Thoughts, gentlemen?
It's going to be big.
It's going to be
big. And from what I've seen, it looks like they've done a pretty good job. And did you also notice they're doing a Dornier 335 B6?
Yeah, I saw that as well.
The night fighter that never actually was built.
But what intrigues me about this is, and I'm sure from the shots we've all seen, that it's a clear view as well.
Oh, look, I don't know about the clear view. I think the clear view might be just for display purposes.
Oh, do you think?
Yep. Also, you'll notice on the photos there's no panel lines at all.
That's because it's not...
it's all pre-production.
Yeah, pre-production
all
at the moment.
Pre-production, yeah. But it'll be a huge kit, and for the Lank fans out there, they'll be going gangbusters over this one.
The wing root area looks very interesting to me. It almost looks like they're designing it to maybe have the wings come on and off.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Well, it's something
You would
that
want
big.
it to, right?
Yeah, so you at least transport it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Because it'd be hard to get it through a doorway, wouldn't it? I mean, you'd have to turn it sideways.
Yep.
I hope that's the case. I could be completely wrong.
Well, I hope it comes with a wall mounting bracket that they did with for their B17.
Probably would.
So you can sort of hang it hanging off the side of a wall, which would
Yeah.
look pretty cool. But yeah, it's certainly got a lot of sort of tongues wagging, and a lot of people
does.
very excited. Interesting to see what the cost of it is. And
I believe it's going to be roughly around 400 Australian dollars.
okay,
So that'd be pretty much the same as a B17, wouldn't it?
yeah, it'd be a similar cost to that. But then you got
That's a guess, right? That's a rough guess. Because you have to think that these things are bigger than B17s.
Well,
and then of
much-
course you got
much
all your
bigger bomb
after
load.
you got all your aftermarket stuff as well.
Yep.
So I mean that can drive the price up another $400.
True.
Ooh, yeah.
All
Yeah, that
right.
could definitely become an expensive kit.
Yes, but look, there's definitely showing that there's for the nose section or the forward fuselage, so from the cockpit forward, it comes in a see-through.
Yeah, that could be just to show you all the detail they've crammed in there too.
No, I think you'll find that might come as a.
But seriously, how many people are going to leave it clear?
Yeah, that's I agree with that. I mean, who would do that? I could see someone doing like a sort of exploded kind of view, where you have different portions of the fuselage in a row kind of thing. So
and
that you could,
with the length, you can see a fair bit inside because you get the big greenhouse canopy.
at that scale, yeah.
At that scale, even in 48 scale, I remember the Tamiya 48 scale one, there was heaps of detail you can see in that.
Well, I did see their B17, and some of the detail type stuff inside was a little bit basic. Stuff like they got these big yellow tanks that are sort of just behind the cockpit.
Oh, the oxygen tanks?
Yeah.
Yeah, but even I remember reading a review of a guy who built it, the B17, and he spent again what he spent on the actual purchase of the kit on interior stuff, and said, basically a waste of time once it's buttoned up because you couldn't see it in there.
Yeah.
Even in a 1/32 scale, he said it's still difficult to see inside.
Yeah.
You'd see a lot more on the length than you would in the B7A.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Well, I mean, you'd see a lot more in the cockpit.
Exactly.
You wouldn't see anywhere
Yeah.
down the fuselage.
Yeah.
What are you going to see down the fuselage of a Lancaster, really?
Bombs.
It was painted black anyway.
Well, bombs you
inside.
see in the underside anyway.
Yeah.
Because of floor.
Yeah.
Are you going to close up the Bombay doors? Oh, what a waste.
And paint all the glass black.
But then again, if you mount it on a wall, how do you attach it? I mean, that Bombay is massive.
It's a big bomb.
There's nowhere for you to attach it in the middle.
Well, I'm just trying to think what it looked like with the B-17 and how that sort of attached to the aircraft.
I don't
think
know.
there was
I mean, I was never. I would never have bought it in the first place because 32nd scale is not my thing, and if it was, I certainly wouldn't go that big. So I didn't look into it. But it's a huge thing. I like how the nose is separate piece.
Yes.
I think they're doing that maybe for other variants.
But look, see there. So the forward part, which is in a clear plastic, you can see where it matches up to the leading edge of the wing. So I'm still tipping that you're going to have that as a. It's much like I think it's Tamiya that built the that did the castle for the guns of a battleshipper there, so you could take the whole thing out. No, I think it was Trumpeter actually that did that. And the actual gun itself was almost like turret itself was almost like a model kit in its own.
Well, Zuko Mira are the ones that are known for doing the planes with clear fuselages. So that you can see all the stuff inside. That's kind of their thing.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know anyone who has built them like that.
Well, touch wood, we should see one at the Model Expo in a couple of weeks ourselves. So
Yeah, they usually have a few on.
maybe then we can definitively sort of report back on what we're going to get with the kit and what you're not going to get with the
Yep,
kit.
exactly. Totally agree.
All right, so thank you, Hong Kong Models, for keeping our life interesting. Let's have a quick look at some news from Sovereign Hobbies.
Yes, Sovereign Hobbies, they took over the paint range from WEM.
Yeah, and their Sovereign Hobbies, they've just announced the release of their Royal Navy colours of World War II. It's their brand new range of model enamel paint, for those of you who still want to paint in enamels. But there's quite a lot of people out there who will be quite excited about this. I know when Sovereign Hobbies, not Sovereign Hobbies, what was the previous one again?
WEM.
WEM.
White Ensign models.
Yeah, that's right. They were very pedantic about their paint chips and getting them as realistic as possible. So I've heard that Sovereign Hobbies are as committed to doing that as well. So you can be assured that what you're getting is going to be as close to the real thing as you can possibly hope to get.
Yep.
Combrig Models are announcing a Russian mine layer destroyer in 1/350 scale. No idea of a release date. It looks to be an early type of destroyer. So this would probably be around World War One and into the...
I think it's 1907
yeah.
on the box, so pre-World War One.
Pre-World War One then.
Combrig does a lot of...
Yeah.
Yeah, Combrig does a lot of pre-First World War dreadnoughts and ships, and really good, unusual subjects too.
I love the look of the early destroyers, the pre-World War One destroyers, and they were fast ships. They were really super fast.
Yep.
And so, just to give you a bit of an education of a destroyer, it was actually originally known as a torpedo boat destroyer.
Yes.
And their purpose was to hunt down the torpedo boats that were trying to get through to the fleet. Hence the reason why they were so super fast. They had a long, very long hull, which aided them in their speed.
And narrow.
And they had this beautiful sort of, you call it a whaleback, I think, on the front part of the, on the bow there, which just gave them a beautiful line. And of course, the name Torpedo Boat Destroyer was actually dropped, and they just became known as destroyers as naval architecture sort of marched on.
Yep.
But lovely looking ships, and that'd certainly make a very interesting subject.
That would, yes.
Also from Combrig Models, there's another release, and I'll just wait for that to pop up. You built Combrig Models before, Ian?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I do have one in the collection.
Yep.
That's His Majesty's Victorian ship, Cerberus.
Do they only make resin models?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
They're beautiful, though. I think Dave's seen the Cerberus.
Yeah,
model.
the Cerberus is a
It's
beautiful looking kit.
in 1/350. The detail they get out of that is just
Yeah.
amazing.
In 1/700 scale, they're going to be doing a Reuben patrol boat, which I have no idea what this actually patrol boat is. I've never seen one before. It's certainly a
you'd get
late
one.
war. No, I wouldn't.
You
actually.
like this modern
Not-
naval stuff?
Not in 1/700 scale.
Oh,
It's
no,
the
true,
wrong scale.
True.
I'd have a crack at their torpedo boat destroyer.
Yeah, that'd be a nice kit.
That'd be a very nice kit, but no, this one doesn't
They
interest
do a
me at all.
magnificent HMAS Australia from the First World War too.
Oh, they do, I believe. A friend of ours, Callum's actually built that one.
Yes, in 1/700.
Yeah, wrong scale. Also, from Asher, try and get this name right. Ashimira?
Aoshima.
Sorry. Okay, there we go. Butchering the languages. They've announced their 1/700 scale waterline series. They're doing a British heavy cruiser. The
Dorsetshire.
Yeah, Dorsetshire for the Battle of Ceylon.
Do they normally make ship models?
Not.
And they're mostly known for their cars, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they've done a few. Not many, but yeah, as you said, they're mostly known for their cars.
Because it's in 1/700, I've never sort of really looked at. But they're saying it's all new tooling, county class heavy cruiser. To the waterline series. They're doing a few waterline in 1/700 scale. Of course, this particular vessel, the Dorsetshire, was widely known for participating in the battle against the Bismarck. And they're also whacking in there a Supermarine Walrus reconnaissance aircraft with wings folded, which would be interesting.
It'd be tiny.
It's very tiny. Also, they're doing the British heavy cruiser Exeter, which was used in the British Atlantic Fleet, and I think that might be coming also with. No, I thought they might be releasing 2 corvettes with it, but it's a bit hard to see where they are or not. So it's the second release of the Royal Navy's HMS Exeter with Flower class corvettes. Okay. So in 1/700 scale, you get a couple of Flower class corvettes with it as well. So that'll be interesting. I'll have to keep my eye on that company and see if they sort of move forward and do it in
1/350
scale, in the correct scale.
For us.
For me, anyway. Well, that's all I've got for what's new. How about you guys? Got any news or anything?
I know Wingnuts just recently at the Shizuoka show.
Oh, we forgot to mention the Shizuoka show.
The
Shizuoka show.
Yeah, was it the Henriot C11 or something? Didn't really ring any bells for me. I'm still hoping from them to finally do a SPAD, but we can always hope. But
yeah.
I haven't heard of anything new. I noticed that Shizuoka show had come and gone, and I sort of asked around, like, is there anything that got released that I should know about? No. Nothing that I would be interested in,
nothing
apparently.
appealed to you anyway.
Yeah, apparently. No. Sorry, Tamiya did bring out a new Stuart, but there's been some sort of talk that maybe it's not so new and that it's actually just an updated version. I couldn't be sure.
They've cleaned up the molds.
Maybe it might be new. I'm not 100% sure. It's one of those things where I know people seem to be going back and forward on it at the moment.
Yeah, no, couldn't tell you.
I hope not.
Because their old Stuart's really dated now, and it's a bit of a hodgepodge of a kid anyway.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Different holds.
I like a Stuart. I like anything in olive drab.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Stuart too. I reckon they were a great little light tank.
It was only good for the Pacific. It's the only place it could be used effectively.
I used a fair bit of them over in the North Africa camp.
Well, they didn't have a choice. That's all they got given.
Yeah, but they're very fast.
They're
very fast.
Yeah. Only good as a scout, really, reconnaissance. That's about it. Yeah.
Perfect role for it.
Yeah. Everything has its
and
niche.
Of course, in the Pacific, the Aussies use them quite effectively in some of the island campaigns.
Correct.
Yeah.
Did quite well with them.
All right, well, that's it for what's new. I think we will have a quick break and then we're going to have a chat about chipping, paint chipping and doing that in your models, etc., etc. So we'll be back very shortly. And we're back with the last segment, which we're going to be talking about chipping. But before we do that, during the break there, Ian was talking about some kits that you got out of a bit of a surprise delivery, wasn't it?
Yeah. A guy I know came into work one day and said a friend of his had passed away, which is always a sad thing when a modeller goes.
Yeah.
He gave this big box of all antique Airfix and frog kits and... Yeah, some real classics in there, mate. Absolute classics.
Frog kits, I mean, they weren't the best even during their early years.
Yeah.
So,
but some of them are what they call the gold medal kits.
Oh, okay.
And they're the very rare ones.
Yeah.
So I was quite.
Any Airfix ones, they were really early kits, were they?
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking like Series 2.
Wow.
Series 2 Airfix.
So what are you planning on building or just leave them in your stash?
I've kept a couple of kits for myself.
Yep.
There was a 32 scale Matchbox Tiger Moth.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, I'll grab that.
Very nice.
And the only other kit I kept for myself was in the collection. They had my first model kit I ever built when I was a kid. Well, about 43 years ago. Was the Airfix 1/600 scale HMS Cossack.
Oh, very nice.
So I've grabbed that and
you gonna build it or?
I don't know. It's a Series 2 kit, and you look at it, and it's like, wow, this is really old.
So here's the thing. So what do we do with these kits, like from the 1960s or even 1950s? If you come across one, do you build it or you just leave it in your stash unbuilt? What do you do with it?
If it was me, I'd sell it to someone. Who cares?
Yeah, I know you'd sell it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know I'm not of that generation that I can appreciate these things. There's no nostalgia for me.
Yeah, but it's kind of like coming across
A fossil.
or a bottle of wine from the 1920s. Do you crack it open to have a taste, or do you just leave it in your cellar?
Well, that's the question. That's the $100 question. Look, there's a good chance I'll probably build it. Main reason it'll be a nostalgic build.
Yeah.
And it should look a lot better than my first ever attempt at building a model, where you couldn't really discern between the plastic and the glue.
And the paint.
Well, actually, it wasn't paint. It was pre-paint. I was about 7 years old, so...
Yeah. No, I think that those ones, they shouldn't be built, not the old ones, because,
Well, the decals are going to be stuffed, for starters.
Yeah, well, on all of them, the decals are
Yeah.
pretty much trash, but
Yeah.
you got to think... You got decals that are 40-odd years old.
Yeah.
They don't last that long, but I've been getting rid of a few of them. A few people have bought some off me, so...
Because they're collector's items now, so why
Yeah.
would you build them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then today you got another guy came into work and gave me a couple of 135 scale to me or 88mm anti-tank guns.
Why do these guys come to you?
I have no idea. They just come out of the blue and here you go. Like one of them's still in its shrink wrap. It's like never
Seriously?
even been opened.
Wow. So did you take both of them, or did you say no thanks?
No, I took them both. Otherwise, I'll go to the scrap heap. And if I can pass them on to someone I know that's going to build them or and get some enjoyment out of it, I'd rather do that than see them go in the scrap heap.
Very true.
That's the problem when people pass away. They a lot of their times their kits go.
And we've spoken about this before. What do you do with, deceased estates, or what do you do with your own stash
Yeah.
in regards to, making plans for when you sort of go to the big build room in the sky?
Take it with you. Be like an Egyptian pharaoh.
Take it with you.
Take it with
You're
you.
going to bury it with your kits.
Bury it with your kits, yeah.
But I'm planning on getting cremated, so that'd be a waste.
It'd be toxic. All that plastic burning.
Wow.
But no, it's a dilemma, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's not just that; it's also all the kits you've built as well.
That's the sad thing.
Yeah,
Like people, especially when you see some of these really top builders, and when they've gone, and their stuff just gets thrown in the bin.
'cause I can guarantee that my kids and my wife, should she be survived, or should I be the first one to sort of shuffle off this mortal coil, they wouldn't have a clue what to do with it.
No.
Yeah, they would. They'd put it in the bin and go, look at all this space.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
they know how valuable it is to me. So,
Or they might just push them to the side and then put a nice picture frame of you with some incense.
Oh, like
or
a
something.
shrine.
Yeah, a little shrine.
then come up and burn some incense and leave
Yeah.
leave some fruit once a week or something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
it, yeah.
And they'll say,
Open a pot of paint to get
oh,
the
Grandpa
smell.
Dave, yeah, he used to waffle on about chips and other weird things, and we didn't really listen to him, but he meant well.
Yeah,
I don't
true.
know. Maybe I should plan. So, actually, you're the youngest out of the three of us, Julian.
Yeah.
So I should put you down in my will to dispose of my unbuilt kits, and then you can pass
Well,
on.
that actually is a smart idea.
It is.
And anyone who is getting on in the years and not wanting to put
Well,
a kibosh on anyone, but
I've
Just
got-
it's a
take the
good-
glint out of your eye, because I've still got quite a few years to go yet, Julian. So don't get too excited.
Look,
it's a
I'm
good
not that
idea to
inter-
pass the kits on.
Yeah.
I'm not that interested in like necessarily most of the stuff that other people are interested in, right?
Oh,
Because
no,
there's-
no. You're going to sell them on behalf of my estate. That's what you're doing.
No.
Yes.
Look, no, I've got a better idea, right? What you should do is whatever plans you have of giving kits to me, you give them to your club, right? Because then you can, then the club, it's much easier for like group of people to manage all of that than it is for one person, right? Anything that they can't sell or don't want or whatever can go into the raffle stash.
I have just had the best idea I've had since I started this podcast.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Now, and we will get to paint chipping eventually, but here we go. Listen to this one. There's a show that I watch on TV, which I absolutely love. It's called American Pickers.
Oh yeah,
It's
Oh,
where
those-
they
Yeah, I know those.
It's where they guys go around and they go to these houses and they give them a listen, say, have you got this and got that. We should do that. We should go on the road as Aussie pickers, but not picking antiques and stuff, but just picking model kits.
Yeah, that sounds like an idea that I would not want to be a part of.
Yeah.
That'd be a brilliant idea.
Because they rip everyone off.
Who does?
Those picker guys.
No, they don't. They get fair prices.
And they got no idea on half the stuff they're talking about anyway.
They get fair prices.
I remember.
Ian, you and I could be on the road. We could travel. We could hit the States. We go to Europe and do this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Spending money to buy old Airfix kits that, you would then, sit on?
No. And they'll make a TV series out of it at the same time.
Right.
Well, why not? I made a podcast out of model kits, haven't we?
The kits that interest me most are the kits built in the last year. And then the year before that are the kits that I'm second most interested in. And the further back you go, the less and less I'm interested in those kits I am.
You're a Philistine.
Younger generation, Dave.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do,
No,
Ian?
not much.
Back in my day.
back in my day, I went through...
we used to have to use Airfix stringy glue, Julian.
Yeah, you also had to use filler. I haven't. I've built kits where I didn't need to use filler.
Oh, fancy. How's that, eh?
Mr. Fancy Pants over there on the other side of the studio. Yeah.
Yeah, all the way on the other side because I'm looking past this monitor that's in the middle of the table.
Well, actually, last kit I built, I didn't use any filler either. The Model T.
The Model T.
There's no filler in that.
Wow.
We are entering the the golden age, the next golden age, the age where putty no longer gets sold because no one buys it.
And then after that, it'll just be just buy a program online and you have your 3D printer and it'll just print it out for you and take the fun right out of it.
No, you don't do that. What you do is you 3D print it into parts. So you 3D print out sprues that you then clip off.
Yeah, but there's going to be the lazy person that's going to print it out fully built.
Yeah, but those people aren't modelers, right? So you just safely ignore them. When they turn up at your club, you say, "Back off, heathen!" Right?
You elitist.
Your sort's not wanted around here.
Sorry, I'm still on the TV show about going around and picking model kits. So I'm going to get that out of my.
Oh, come on, there's not that many modelers out there, is there?
There is. We'll get a white transit van and off we'll go. Ian?
A white transit van.
Yeah. And we'll have, I don't know, on the bench.
So you're going
on the bench pickers on the side of the van.
You're going to be the chubby guy from the show who always.
Hey.
Is that what it is?
What? No, I'm going to be the handsome one.
No, I thought that was me.
On because I'm not on it.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we better get on and have a chat about chipping and paint effects or chipping effects on models. So let's get into that, I guess. I'll park my idea about being a model picker and we'll move on to that.
Yes.
So, Julian, you picked the subject.
Yeah, I did. Well, it was an off the top of my head kind of thing. So one of the things that sort of chipping is a pretty popular sort of thing. I think within aircraft, not everyone, but a lot of modelers will build that one Japanese Zero with all the chipping all over it because they want to have a go at chipping.
Or the Oscar.
Yeah, just because they want to have a go at chipping, right?
Yep.
They're not even interested in Japanese aircraft, but they'll do it for that.
Yep.
All right, and then also chipping's got much more of a home with armour modelling, I think.
Correct.
The best chipper I've ever seen is actually sitting in this studio, and that's Ian. The way he does his chipping effects is on his armour.
Well, that's another thing. Like, because
gobsmackingly awesome.
You do your chipping with a brush, do you not? Like just literally painting it on.
Yes.
Targeted painting.
Yeah, usually two-tone chipping. Especially on armour, I do two-tone chipping.
So what do you mean by two-tone chipping? Explain that to everybody out there.
I put the undercoat chip first, and then in the middle of the undercoat, occasionally, not all the time, I'll put a straight back to metal. So you got metal, undercoat, top colour.
Yep.
So it gives you more three-dimensional look to the paint chips.
Yep.
Another sort of method in line with that sort of thing is, you can do say you've got a bluish sort of greyish sort of ship type thing, and you have like the paint chip has like that lighter color of the same paint
Yep.
beneath it, where it's less oxidized,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go down to the sort of rusty steel color.
Yeah. And I tend to keep away, especially on armour kits. I don't think ever, or very rarely, have I gone back to actually a silvery metallic colour with me chipping.
So what do you use then if you're getting down to bare metal for your armour models?
If it's, I never bring them back to bare metal.
Right.
Mainly bring them back to, I do it, usually it's like a dark grey, like a neutral, very dark grey. And I find just the effect of that just brings up the what I really want out of the look of it.
Because I mean, the reason why I bring this subject up, because that's I mean, there are people out there who do that, do the brush method, but it's kind of something that I think would come much more naturally to someone who has done some figure painting.
Yes.
People who know their way around a brush a bit better than the average modeler. Because usually once people pick up an airbrush, they're like, "Oh, I've got this now. I don't need to go back to brush painting."
Oh, no.
I'll maybe use one to slather some wash on it, but I won't use it for actual painting anymore.
Yep.
People do have that sort of mindset, and that's why people have gone for the
Sponge method.
the sponge method and the hairspray method.
Yep.
Because they require, I think they require a lot more preparation.
Correct.
Where if you stuff it up, you would respray it, right?
Which I had to do with the Better Me Model T when I originally did the chipping on that.
Yeah, but that chipping was hairspray method, right? Or,
Yes.
or chipping fluid, right?
Chipping fluid,
which
yep.
is more or less the same thing. It's
Exactly,
just,
yeah.
You could almost pair them together. I mean, it's the same thing. You still need to airbrush it on,
Yep.
right?
I love the chipping fluid. I reckon it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's great.
And you got the ones. What was the brand you used, Ian?
Oh, I think it's the AK. I think.
Yeah, I've got AK. And I've
Either
got
AK or MIG.
an AK. I've got two versions. You've got the sort of like the soft and the hard
Correct.
one.
Yeah, it's the AK. Yep.
And I loved it. I reckon it's great. I'm just trying to think what I did it on a landing craft. I think that I did mine on. And it's brilliant stuff.
Yeah, but like anything, there are different tools for the job. I mean, you would have used both this brush method that you're sort of good at, along with the chipping fluid method on that one model, right?
Yes, I did and I also used a sponge on the Model T as well.
Oh, you did?
Yep. On the front guards.
Well, if that doesn't illustrate, tools, different tools for different jobs, then
oh yeah,
I don't know what does.
Yeah. I found with that Model T, I've used so many different methods and applications on the finish of that thing.
It'll be good to see when it's done.
Yeah, it's close.
You just got like the base to do.
The base to do, and that.
I'm really looking forward to that sort of crack riverbed kind of thing that you might be going for.
I did the. I used the. I think it's AK
cracked earth type thing.
Yep, and
didn't work.
It worked, but I think I was a bit sparse with it.
Okay.
So my cracks are really fine and very small. So I've got that corner I haven't quite finished. So
you think you could throw like a wash into the cracks?
I did that, but the cracks are just too small. They're more 72 scale.
Oh.
So what I'm thinking of doing is maybe putting another coat on it, but thicker.
Okay.
Because last time I used a thinnish coat. So for the thicker, and what I saw online, the thicker the coat, the bigger the cracks.
That makes sense because like you need enough sort of thickness for it to crack down into, right?
Yep.
And then there's the salt effect, the salt method.
Yep, the salt effect.
Never done that.
Well, there's also that thing where people actually have like rust, like actual rust, and they'll just sort of sprinkle it over things. And
I once used Vegemite.
Now, we spoke about this last episode, didn't we? I think we were talking about some rust or something.
Yeah.
And
I put the kibosh on that one, didn't I?
And look, I do that. I'll paint a rust colour underneath if I wanted to highlight it, and especially on sort of like naval ships. But what I'll do different rusts on the side of the hull. Then I'll put the chipping medium over the top of that. Then I'll spray the actual colour on top of that, and I'll just sort of scrape off. So as I scrape off different parts of the hull, I'll get different colours of rust coming through. So to get that effect.
Yeah, that'd give a good effect, that would, yeah.
Oh, it does. And the other thing you can use too is don't use any effect, any sort of like chipping effect at all. So you do an undercoat of what would naturally appear under there. Then you spray on your colour on top of that. I'm not just talking about ships, I'm talking about aircraft or even more so armour, I think. And you just get I've seen them use a toothpick and deliberately sort of, scratch marks in it as if the tank had sort of, gone through and knock things.
You've got to be really careful in that you don't go too deep.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And when you do it, especially like if you're painting your paint chips on, so you just got to start getting creative and figuring out...
Thinking about where the chip would be.
What direction it's going. Because a lot of my armour kits, I have scratches going horizontally.
Oh, yeah?
Where it's more the tank's gone past something, caught it, scraped across the hull. I remember doing a Tiger tank for a guy, and the back storage container had this massive gouge, which I first did very lightly with a file, put like a bit of a ding in there, and then just painted this big whopping gouge that went across the numbers on the back of the Tiger tank.
Cool.
Come up a treat. It looked great. Looked really good.
Yeah. Is this behind at the back of it, did you say?
Yeah, the back of the turret.
The back of the turret, yeah. I've always been a big fan of the horizontal scrape on the side or the back of the turret where it's like something's been there and the turret's rotated.
The turret's slewed around and goes, whoops.
Yeah, because it's only thin metal, those storage containers.
Absolutely.
They cop the hiding.
So have you guys actually used the salt method before?
No.
It'd be good for leading edges of wings and stuff.
I have some chipping fluid at home. I gave it a go once and it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, and I sort of...
What, the salt or the chipping?
Oh no, chipping fluid.
Yeah.
I haven't tried the salt thing, but since then I have not attempted any kind of chipping. But it's something that I really want to get into because I'm more of a fan of single color schemes, like say German vehicles that are all dark yellow or all Panzer grey or American aircraft that are all olive drab. I'm a big fan of camouflage can look very interesting, but I think if you want to sort of a really good, I think the single color schemes are better at illustrating the lines of the aircraft or the vehicle, and once you add in like chipping effects and dust and other things, that really sort of adds character to it.
Oh, mate, that's so boring. You got to have says Dave, who paints grey ships. But that's so boring. I mean, you got to have your camouflage on your aircraft.
I've done plenty of I've done plenty of camouflage aircraft, but there's also simplicity to it. Like you spend
I understand what you're coming
you
from.
spend less time like worrying about doing hard edge camouflage and all that sort of garbage, and you can get down to things that I usually have no energy for by the end of the build, like the weathering. By the time I get there, I'm just like, I want this thing gone.
And some subjects scream for camouflage. Some subjects don't scream for camouflage.
Yeah.
I love me late World War II US carrier aircraft.
Yeah.
In the glossy sea blue, I reckon they look fantastic.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Absolutely great.
How many have you done now of that?
Actually built.
Yeah.
None.
But he likes the way they look.
I've got them in my collection. I've got a Corsair. I've got a Hellcat. I've got...
you got a Bearcat.
I've got a Bearcat, yeah.
Your P61?
P61, but that's not blue.
True.
That's going to be a blackish colour.
Yeah.
Did you mention Tiger Cat?
Yeah, I've got a Tiger Cat, yep.
See, I'd love to build a Tiger Cat, but I've heard that... Because there's only one kit, right? And only one kit in 48s, and there's no amount of weight you can put in it that will keep the nose down.
No. But then again, if you ever see photos of those aircraft on the landing field when they're at no fuel in the tanks, they sit on their tail.
Yeah, I know.
And that front wheel just hangs right out the front.
Yeah, but
I know what you mean. They look better on the.
Yeah, you want it to look as it sort of the way it was supposed to look, right? But,
but there is ways you can weight one of them out. You just got to be really careful. I remember I had to weight out the old monogram B25 glass nose Mitchell.
No, yeah.
To get that to sit on the front nose,
and
that was like shotgun pellets.
Yeah.
Every conceivable spot, anything forward of the rear wheels.
Yeah, see, you could get
open.
But at least the Mitchell has like decently strong undercarriage, right?
That front,
the
I was
nose.
a bit worried about the front nose wheel, mate. That was
Yeah, but the nose wheel on the front of the Tiger Cat is way more fragile.
yeah, well, that's in that
Just
case.
get it in white metal.
Exactly,
Yeah.
white metal, or just make it out of alloy brass tubing.
Getting back to the chipping thing that we should be talking about.
You're the one who took us off track.
yeah. But you know, to tie it in, like I've seen, like, because the problem with those late war U.S. Navy aircraft is that it's a pretty dark color.
Yes,
It sucks in light like you wouldn't believe.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you can do about it is keep it glossy, or you can put a bit of matte into it, because apparently, like when they weathered, they just lost a bit of their
gloss.
their
That's
gloss,
right. Yep.
but they were very tough
Mm.
paint otherwise. But if you were going to do anything to it, you could do chipping, and I have seen it done where they chip it just down to the zinc chromate.
Which I did with my Hellcat I built.
Mm-hmm.
That was in the 3-tone scheme. I did that on the top of the wings.
Mm-hmm.
Just brought it back to the zinc chromate.
Yeah.
Because you think a naval aircraft, the last thing they want to do is let that thing get back to bare metal, because that'll corrode in no time. We're not going to get rust. You're going to get some serious corrosion. And the last thing you want is serious corrosion in an aircraft, and especially like...
Where you can't afford to get new aircraft.
Well, it's not just that, like in a wing fold. And that's where you're going to get your chipping and so forth.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want is being in combat and having one of your wings pop off. So they're very meticulous.
Yeah. And, you know, it's one of that's the kind of chipping on those kind of aircraft. When you're doing zinc chromate, I reckon that is a very difficult thing to do, because otherwise, if you do it wrong and you go overboard, you look like you've sprinkled fluorescent yellow fluff all over it.
Correct. Yes.
And the zinc chromate too, because it's going to be exposed as well, so it's going to be faded to a certain degree. So you don't want it looking like it's factory new as well.
That's right.
So how do you sort of weather the zinc chromate that's been exposed to the chips?
Well, I always, for my final coat, especially aircraft that are out in the hot sun or Pacific, I do a bit of heresy. I put a couple of drops of white in my final flat clear coat.
Oh, you just fade it out a bit?
And that fades, and it fades everything out, and it tones everything, all the colours tone together.
So if you got your airbrush cup, and let's say you've put, I don't know, 5 mils of your flat finish in there, what you'd put like just one drop of
one drop
of
white.
Yep.
If I'm not doing armour, if I'm not doing aircraft, or if I'm doing armour and that, or an aircraft or anything that's not out in the sun all the time, to tie everything together, I put a drop of the most prominent colour on that aircraft or tank in with the flat clear.
Huh.
And you'll find that tones, because when you paint, start doing your paint chipping.
Yep.
And you look at it and you go, well, this looks like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
it's
it just-
too vibrant.
it
The
jumps
edges are
out.
too sharp.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you put you put a drop of your most prominent colour in your flat clear, spray it over, and it's like watching a miracle at work. It just bang, all of a sudden everything just melts together.
Yep.
So when you look at your flat clear in your cup, it wouldn't even look misty with the colour. It just don't even.
It'd be like a hint of the colour in there, but
Yep.
it's enough to make all the difference.
Yeah, and you can always come back with like as you're going along, you can always come back and give it another coat if it's not working too much.
It's almost like a filter, a final filter.
It is a
Correct.
filter.
Yeah, it is a filter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's my way of doing it anyway.
Well, if you, because white is pretty strong color. I know modelers who have, for example, done like olive drab aircraft, and they've done a bit of the fading by just adding a drop of
Yellow.
Not yellow, but like flesh color. You know, like it's not white. It's a little bit sandy, a little bit along the yellow lines of things, but it adds a bit more warmth to it than just white.
Okay.
Yep.
And there are some fantastic shots of like P-51s in all olive drab, you know, like the earlier ones with the Razorback thing, P-51Bs and stuff, and earlier, where you full color photos from back in the day, and it's all olive drab, and there's not a single color that looks the same on it. It's just lots of fading and dark areas, and looks fantastic.
Absolutely.
That's the kind of stuff I like.
Well, we're hard up against the clock, gents, so I think we'll wrap it up there. So it's been a wide and interesting conversation.
Yeah, it has, yeah.
Okay, so next episode we're actually going to be recording from Model Expo, which is the largest model expo in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yep.
So very excited about that. So
Yes,
we'll be going out there. We'll be pulling some guys off the floor and having lots of different chats with them and some builders and some exhibitors. So I'm thinking that we'll probably break that show up into about 2 separate shows.
You probably have to.
And which means that you guys listening out there will probably get 2 episodes within the space of a fortnight. So that'll be good. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that and taking the show on the roads. I haven't done it before, so it's going to be very interesting.
Yes.
And we'll see how we go with all the noise.
I won't even be thinking about it until the time comes because I got too much to get done before then. Too much.
You got a lot on your plate. I've only got the one project to finish, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go to bed tonight and dream about my Model Pickers TV show.
That's it, Dave. Yeah, dream away, mate.
All right, thanks for listening out there, and thanks for your support again. It's awesome. We've got up to 10,000 downloads, and I've only done it through you guys listening to us. Pass the word on to all of your friends at model clubs or on forums about the show. So we'd like to get this show out to a wider audience, and I know they're out there, and we're just going to get them to find us.
Yep,
so
that's too true.
You guys can do that out there for us. So until the next show, Ian, have you got any parting words of wisdom?
Just enjoy your hobby. I think I say that every
You
time.
do?
Enjoy your hobby. That's
You're
what
going
it's
to
there
get a
for.
byline to sort of throw away.
Enjoy your hobby.
Okay, Julian, what about you?
Oh, nothing this time. I can't think of that many ending quotes.
All right, guys, until next fortnight, I'll see you later.